The owner of a small business store in the Mission District in San Francisco, it's flooding its store's own doorway to stop homeless people from sleeping outside. Now, we've been told that, streets of San Francisco are getting cleaned up. Here is a story that says otherwise. Here is a story that says, hey, these are people. You can't necessarily just, clean up a street and expect them to all go away. That's not how this goes. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Some say this
Remember this guy?
Is now spilling over into cruelty.
Yeah.
Eyewitness News reporter Joy Rand has the disturbing video
that guy
behind it.
Move.
It's video out of San Francisco that is drawing a lot of attention online. An art gallery owner spraying a homeless woman with a hose as she sits on the sidewalk.
With homelessness impacting just about every neighborhood, people living in the Mission and elsewhere say they're putting out planters, trying to avoid encampments. Ari lives in the city's Mission District and says an encampment here along this wall on Cap Street impacted the entire neighborhood.
We couldn't walk the street. And you have, down there, you have a senior housing. You have people that are 65 years old, 70 years old. They cannot even access with their wheelchair. This was all blocked.
Neighbors say several months ago, the homeless that had been camping here
there we go.
was an option from the city. So neighbors here gathered resources to create this garden made up of wine barrels.
And you know what? They made him take it out. They made him take a lot of that stuff out. It's, they're like, oh, do you have a permit for this? No, we did this because we are defending our turf from the lunatic insane. The woman that the gallery owner was spraying down, she would oftentimes just spread eagle masturbate right on the sidewalk. I don't know if you know this, but that is not a great way to get PR out for your fairly expensive art gallery. Arnold Schwarzenegger had purchased gallery work from there. So you got the crazy homeless whacked out nut job masturbating out in front of your gallery store. Yeah. Taking a dump, peeing all the time, just right there. And she's just absolutely whacked out. She should be in a place where she can get some help, right? Instead of just, literal insanity on the sidewalk, doing this kind of craziness. People have thrown a phone and even a microwave at the store's exterior. There's been violence toward staff from shoplifters. That's a whole nother story. It could, in just 2 years of business, double down a skate design turned vintage clothing outlet. All right, that's the mission, right? Yeah. Vintage clothing outlet on Valencia Street has had its share of abuse. Constantly, there's people who want to destroy the shop for no reason. They are whacked out nut jobs on meth, right? They're the lunatic homeless, on drugs, doing fentanyl, doing whatever. They need their next fix. They're willing to break into your store because, they know that nobody in San Francisco is really going to do much about it. That's why they're there. That's why they're there. It's why they come up to Seattle. It's why they go down to Portland. They know officials are super soft on crime, super soft on drugs. Just, hey, man, let's all get together. Well, that doesn't work for businesses, and that's why I've had so many businesses leaving. Till recently, Double Down owner Diana Musa and more tried to respond with compassion. There's that misguided compassion. You got to do what the art gallery owner did and just spray them. If it's in the middle of winter, okay, then they go dry out at a shelter where they should be, not on the sidewalk. Those who entered the shop and appeared to be in need were offered food or clothing. This is a shop owner offering food and clothing. Okay? Then the situation took a nauseating turn. Let's take a look at that picture. So this is literally what you've got going on. A shop owner dumping a bunch of water out in front of their shop so that people don't sleep there. I mean, what about people walking by and slipping and falling and you get sued? Nah, the overriding factor is we don't want to have to do this. We don't want to have to. A few months ago, Moore and Musa were showing up to the store to find someone sleeping in the doorway. Regularly, they would find urine, feces, and vomit. That's toxic, hazardous waste, right? I mean, you have that in like a plane and just somebody throws up, somebody takes a dump, whatever, not in a latrine. I mean, it's game on. It's, bring the guys with masks in and just go down that route. It's the feces that's unbearable, Musa said. Even cleaning your own kids' diapers, it's not a great task, is it? Yeah, it just, yeah. We have to clean things that no human should have to be cleaning. Moore added, bodily fluids of other people is just really disgusting. It makes you feel uneasy. I have concern about cleaning up others' body fluid. I used to help them out. Now I don't. Now I just douche out the front porch of my business onto the sidewalk, onto the street. Hope that water just goes all the way down so that these low-life, whacked out nut jobs on drugs go sleep in front of that other business who's not doing this. I mean, now every night before they leave the shop, staffers dump tubs of water in the doorway. That should be great in winter when it's freezing, a little slippery. Staffers dump tubs of water in the doorway in an effort to stop people from sleeping there and leaving behind excrement. Because they're so far gone, they just take a dump wherever and there's videos of it out there. It's just nuts. It's literally nuts. But these big blue liberal cities, this is what they want. This is what they want. Otherwise, they change things up. Oh, we don't want that, Sean. Well, all of the laws and all of the actions that you've done say otherwise. The problem is that these are human beings. And until you get them the help that they need, they're not going to stop this kind of behavior. They're not like animals you can kind of corral. I know a lot of folks, hey, put them all on an island. Let them just duke it out, escape from New York style. All right. You can't really do that. These people have mental issues and wild addiction issues, often a combination of the two. They shouldn't be left to their own, sleeping on a piece of cardboard out in front of somebody's store. We didn't used to do that. We had them in mental institutions. But then we cleared out all those mental institutions because, I had some abuse in there. This is abuse too. So got to find some kind of, fine balance. But this isn't just San Francisco. This is every big blue Democrat-run city. You go to the big red cities, they just don't have this kind of stuff, right? They've gone down a whole nother track. And that's why people are moving there in droves. That's why you've got population exodus from the big blue states like California and going to Texas and Florida. By 2030 census, the House is going to have an additional 12, 13 seats go from Democrat probably to, Republican states. A swing of 12 or 13 states due to population demographics. So far, the douching out the front porch, it's been working, John Musa said. Knock on wood, knock on concrete. I mean, here's the solution. This is the solution. This is what it comes down to. Dumping a big, bucket of water on your front porch. Well, it's the best we can do. Surprised they don't put something in there that smells really bad and then, take a hose like the next day, like that one guy who was, giving that lady a bath. I mean, he was doing her a service, right? Double Down isn't the first business to think creatively about tackling the homelessness and drug crises. It wasn't too long ago that steel planters began popping up all over the city, installed by merchants and residents alike to deter encampments. Strategies decried by homeless advocates as hostile architecture. I read a story down in Oklahoma City where my parents are, and that's my prime example of, here's a Republican-run city, big Republican-run city. This is how they handle it. They have virtually no homeless there. I mean, the numbers are shocking. None, virtually none. A few dozen. If you see one encampment with a handful of tents, then that's like, oh my gosh, they're taking over. But even in the areas down there, they have gone to putting out the big boulders. And that was kind of an example of hostile architecture that people in Oklahoma City had not seen before. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty normal. It's a horrific look. It's a terrible look. Just loading up an area with a whole bunch of boulders. It's like dumping a bunch of water on your front stoop. You know what I mean? Other methods of safeguarding property have included blasting the Star Wars theme song and flashing bright lights. Hey, you got any epilepsy? Nope. You might hear pretty soon. The city chose to very aggressively crack down on homeless camps last year, launching sweeps in the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court ruling. You didn't really need to wait to do that, but that was kind of just the impetus. Oh, Supreme Court said, yep, we can sweep, and it's not going to be illegal if we don't have space to put these people. Most of these people don't want to go into treatment. They don't want to go into housing where there's any kind of accountability. And that's housing first, and that's also harm reduction. Two failed policies. Housing first being, well, just put them in a house, they'll get stable, and then they'll quit their addictions. No. And you know what? In most big cities where they've got housing first, those people just do their drugs inside. They just go inside, do their drugs, and if they don't, they're not allowed to do their drugs there. They'll have a tent in the encampment. So they've literally got housing taxpayers are paying for, but they've got a tent in the encampment to do their drugs. That's what they do. We see it here in Bellevue. It happens all the time. What are you doing with that tent? Don't you have housing? Oh, yeah, I got a place up at, whatever. What are you doing here? Chillaxing, Netflix and chill. The city fails to invest in adequate housing and services, and to cover for their inability to do that, they scapegoat homeless people, which emboldens business owners to behave in cruel ways. It's an advocate for the city's homeless population. These aren't cruel ways. These are just people defending their turf, literally, by any means possible. What is cruel is having these people just running around with the mental issues they've got and the drug issues, and society saying, specifically San Francisco society saying, we have great compassion for our fellow human being. Now, how's that working out? People are sleeping on the sidewalk. Ever try that? You ever try sleeping somewhere where it's really cold and the surface is hard? Oh, done it on a lot of mountains. Different drill. It's horrible. Staffers say they have no animosity towards the homeless, but have to protect themselves. If we let someone come in to give them something, they'll end up taking extra things or stealing from us or threatening us. There's been violent situations here, Moore said, adding that she was once swung at for calling out a shoplifter. Hey, put that back. Boom, right? It's the feeling of not being safe in your own neighborhood. Well, how did that happen? You had a soft on crime approach. You had a soft on drugs approach. You had a soft on homelessness approach. You had a soft on nut jobs approach. Here you are. There's your sign. Melissa says that she can't afford a security guard for now. All the store has is doorbell camera. Melissa has asked building management to install a gate. Said a company stopped by a couple of weeks ago to take measurements. You know what? There's all these things that business owners can do. But the bottom line is they shouldn't have to deal with this nonsense. The city should be taking care of this. The city should be saying, like Republican cities, hey, you're homeless. We get that. We've got room for you at the shelter here. You want to go there? Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, then, you either need to move along or we're going to incarcerate you. Those are your options. What do you want to do? I guess I'll move along. That's literally what big Republican cities do. So, Musa says that she has called police twice to report broken glass and a few other times to report attempted break-ins and thefts. On one occasion, when officers did show up, they took 3 hours to arrive. That's pretty quick. 3 hours? That's not bad. That's pretty good. I mean, the fact that they showed up at all, that's progress. That's something, right? Police case numbers were not provided to the standard. I do think help is there, Moore said. A lot of people just don't want to take it for their own personal reasons. They want to keep doing drugs, people. That's what they want to do. They want to live outside of any kind of system of regulations. And, even the lowest of barrier homeless, communities, they don't want to live there because if they can't do their thing, just more comfortable living outside, living in a tent, lighting tents on fire, lighting stuff on fire, shooting people, stealing stuff, the usual. I don't know what the answer is, but it's really negatively affecting hardworking small business owners in San Francisco. So when you go to open up a business, you need to think about, hey, where am I opening up this business? The Mission District. It's so great, San Francisco. But here's the deal. Yeah, that dream of yours is going to involve scooping somebody else's poop off the front of your business enterprise. So get a whole bunch of those gloves and then spray that area down, right? And then proactively spray it down. I have not heard of this one. This is a new approach. I'm always open to new approaches. What we had, I'll finish out. Other business owners in the block say they understand Double Down's tactics, but warn of public backlash. Be careful. Yeah, who cares, right? As long as you don't get sued. It's like the Mission is turning into the Tenderloin and nobody's doing anything about it. Well, what did you think would happen, right? I mean, it's absolute insanity that you think that you can just clean out the encampments and have these people go away. They don't go away. They're not like garbage that you just, if we sweep it up, put it in a pile, take it to the dump, it's gone. No, they keep coming back because they're people and you can't sweep them under the carpet. So that's why we end up with this. What I'm going to leave you with is, remember there was a business owner, and I think it was in San Francisco. Was it in the Tenderloin? Probably Tenderloin or Skid Row, right? Either one of those, LA or San Fran. And he was pouring oil. He was pouring oil out in front, motor oil out in front of his 7-Eleven, where they've got kind of those brick planter boxes and, people can lean up against them and put stuff down. Not that one. He's just liberally putting motor oil on top of all these surfaces. And so that stuff doesn't dry, right? No, you have that underneath cover and it doesn't get wet. That's going to be there for a while. Those are the lengths that business owners are going to that they shouldn't have to do. But because city officials, they've gone down this road and there's zero accountability, this is what you got. This is what you got. Now, Gavin Newsom is on a hard push to end the homelessness. But he's got his hands full with those wildfires, doesn't he? Yeah, Governor, how come there wasn't any water in the reservoir? How come there wasn't any water coming to those hydrants? Why was your mayor in Ghana while all of that was going on? He's got his hands full. None of this stuff is going to get fixed because you're not getting to the bottom of it, which is these people need a lot of help. And unless you're willing to involuntarily put people where they need to be, all of this is just, it's temporary. It's a temporary fix for a permanent problem unless you're willing to put the work in. And these big blue liberal cities are not willing to go there because they might have to actually hurt somebody's feelings. Yeah. We're not doing that. That's it for me on this one. Thanks for being here. Love to have you subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.